What's going on, guys? It's me, Tim. This is going to be one of those kind of like off-the-cuff videos that I wanted to create, and I wanted to create this really for you and for me. Like, I feel like probably a lot of creatives out there today that we really get wrapped up into gear. You know, I have fallen into that trap just like you have probably, and you know, I've seen a lot recently as Canon has released their onslaught of new cameras, digital cameras, like the Canon EOS R5 and the EOS R6. Sony has released their Sony A7s3, and there are a lot of people out there like, which camera company should I switch to? Should you go mirrorless or should you stay with your DSLR? Should you go Sony? Should you go Canon? Or should you go Nikon? I mean, Panasonic and Fuji, there are a lot of companies out there that are making a lot of great gear. I'm guilty of it too. I mean, I have 15 or 16 different cameras that I like to shoot with. I've got stuff from like $5 cameras to $5,000 cameras. And they're all great. There is not a bad camera on the market today. There just isn't. Sony is going to make a great camera. Nikon is going to make a great camera. Canon makes a great camera. Fuji makes an excellent camera. Panasonic is making great cameras. There's nothing out there that you can't pick up and create something wonderful with. The odds are probably extremely high and extremely likely that the gear that you have in your bag right now is great. I mean, we talk about dual card slots and CF fast cards and how much dynamic range you can get out of a camera. But the truth of the matter is none of that matters if you don't actually go out and create something with the camera that you have. I mean, I know I've done like reviews on Mamiyas and Leicas and stuff like that, but this is all stuff that I've owned, like that I've purchased over the years and that I've had in my camera collection for so long. And when the pandemic hit, I just thought, why don't I create a YouTube channel talking about the gear that I enjoy shooting, because it's great gear. I love the Mamiya 6. It is a wonderful camera. The Mamiya 7, another wonderful camera. And you know what else I enjoy shooting? My Canon AE1 that you can pick up at a pawn shop for about $40. I know we get so wrapped up as creatives and photographers in lens sharpness and contrast and micro contrast and all the how high ISO can I possibly go and still have a usable image. Those are great things, but if you don't go out and create, do any of those things mean anything? They don't. So I want to encourage you, instead of watching YouTube videos of gear and YouTube videos of other people creating things, that you go out and you create. I feel so often that we get so bogged down with worrying about the gear that we don't have that we stop creating with the gear that we do have. Hey, if you've got a Canon 5D1 Classic, you know, what they used to call the original 5D, that camera still takes great images today. In fact, you can pick one of those up for about $250 used, and you can still take wonderful images. And if you're a film shooter, Contax 645, although it is a great camera and it takes wonderful photos, the medium format camera that you probably own that you're not shooting with because you've become disenchanted or disengaged because someone else is shooting with something different than you is really stunting your growth. Like, and what I mean by that, what I mean by stunting your growth is I mean that you are not creating because you're wanting something else that you think may make your work better. Now, don't get me wrong, being able to take 10 frames per second or 30 frames per second to ensure that you have the best possible shot is great. But if you're not taking the camera out of your bag that takes 4 frames per second, all you're doing is just missing shots that you could possibly take. I mean, I know that you know that I know that as a photographer, we have camera envy. We're always worrying about what our competitors are shooting and which lens is the best possible lens to get the best possible bokeh out there. But you know, I often think about like the greats before us who were shooting on 35mm film and had really the kind of cameras to today's standards that just wouldn't hold up. But they still went out every day and they created something, and they have images that were taken on cameras that were far less superior than the cameras that I'm even recording this video on. So I just want to encourage you to get off the couch and get off your screens and to pick up your camera and create something unique. They used to say, as an athlete, I believe it was Michael Jordan, would say that in order to perfect something, you would have to do it 10,000 times. So in the off season, when Michael Jordan was a really poor three-point shooter, he would go out and he would shoot thousands of three-pointers in a day until he got that muscle memory correct to where when he would shoot the ball, it would just go in. Like, not all the time, but he knew by shooting 10,000 times in a summer or 10,000 times in a week or 1,000 times in a day that if he worked hard enough that he would eventually become a better shooter. And he did. You know, Michael Jordan, as much as I hate him, yeah, I'm not a Michael Jordan fan, there is a lot to respect about someone who is willing to put the time into their craft. So that's what I'm telling you. Pick your camera up, take 500 frames a day, take 1,000 frames a day, take 50 frames a day. But I just want to encourage you, if you're watching this, that it will always be craft over gear. Always craft over gear. Hey, thanks so much for watching this, guys. I just wanted to kind of get this off my chest because I have found myself like in the rat race of looking at all these different videos and reading these articles about camera gear and looking at Facebook post after Facebook post after Facebook post. Should I go with the Sony or Canon? I have been a part of those arguments where it's like Team Canon or Team Sony. Sadly, no one has ever really been Team Nikon. Maybe they are. Maybe you shoot Nikon. There's nothing wrong with Nikon. I'm sure they make a great camera. I haven't shot with a Nikon since the D750. But I do know that in order to get great at anything, you actually have to take your camera out your bag and photograph something with it. Thanks for watching. Remember, craft over gear. And I'll see you back with my next video.